Active weather pattern looks to set up on Tuesday mid-morning, early afternoon, starting in Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, parts of Colorado. Got a Colorado low that's going to swing eastward starting Tuesday and traverse its way through the eastern two-thirds of the country. That'll be the first of at least three storm systems in the month of February. More than likely four. We're going to see snow in the Rockies and go ahead as it traverses its way eastward. Northern Oklahoma, portions of northern Oklahoma along the I-44 corridor, 2-3 inches or so. I-44 seems to be the dividing line for where the cold air is going to set up. Northward into Kansas, gonna see some areas 3 to 4 inches, and then getting into central northern Kansas, looks like about 6 to 10 inches, locally higher amounts possible, especially around the Kansas City metro area. Southern Nebraska, around the Hastings area, could pick up as much as 7.5 inches or so, depending on freezing rain, ice potential, if any does end up developing. The low pressure system starts to swing eastward Tuesday night going into Wednesday, where the south sets up for a fairly significant, one of a few fairly significant rain events over the next 10 days. The more significant rain event seems to be Valentine's Day and the 15th, which would be Friday and Saturday of next week. But both of the next two systems likely produce between 2 and 4 inches in most areas, if not more. Locally higher amounts, of course, where storms train over the same areas back to back to back to back. You'll see in the GFS, the Euro, and I do believe the EPS model is the other one I have screenshots posted of. These are at least 7 to 10 days out, except for the snow total models. The snow total models are from the Tuesday to early Friday morning timelines. The rainfall totals are from the 10th through the 20th, 21st at the most. So there is a little wiggle room, especially with the later half of the rainfall totals, which you will see. Those will be the darker shaded areas, the dark browns and everything like that, where it's especially the higher rainfall totals amounts. Those will be the ones that are the highest, or the furthest out, I should say. Those will be the ones that are the furthest out, around the 12-day out time range. Those will have a little wiggle room. Those, depending on where the low tracks, those projections will be adjusted accordingly as the low makes its way either north or further south. But regardless, the south is setting up for a fairly significant potential flooding event, in which the Weather Prediction Center has, at least on the next couple days of their outlook, which works just about the same as the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, in a slight risk for the where they believe the heaviest corridor of rain is going to set up across portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. They're in a slight risk, and then on the outer edges of that expanding outward, they are in a marginal risk, which Weather Prediction Center updates their outlooks every day accordingly based on model projections and then the current rainfall they're going to see. Some of the models do have areas in the western Carolinas that were previously affected by Hurricane Helene, seeing up to 10 to 15 inches of rainfall potential. This is going to be a drought-busting rain for areas that have been drought-stricken, which is a lot of the South, unfortunately, still, even though we are in late winter heading into early spring, facing a fairly significant drought. But regardless, due to the damage done by Helene, still going to be a lot of potential for high flash flooding risks, rock slides, mudslides, strong debris flow from any debris that's left, everything like that. So, going to likely see fairly significant amount of flash flood advisories, probably a couple of flash flood warnings in a decent portion of the South with this flash flood, or with this heavy rainfall event over the next 10 to 12 days. And again, keep in mind that the totals that you're looking at across the GFS, the Euro, and this EPS ensemble are going to be at least over the next 7 to 10 days, if not a couple of them, like I said, are further out. Again, the snowfall models are between Tuesday and early Friday morning. Take note also when looking at, if you're in an area where you're looking at snowfall models, that the track on between the GFS and the Euro model, the Euro model wants to keep the track of the heaviest snowfall totals further to the east than the GFS. The GFS is everybody gets snow. Everybody sees 3 to 5 inches in the heaviest swaths of snowfall totals. The Euro is stingy. It says east, Bowling Green and eastward, up northeastward into portions of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then especially into New York, where they're going to look at seeing portions of, or a little bit of lake effect snow to the effect potentially of 10 to 15 inches, locally higher amounts, 18 to possibly 20. That lake effect snow can get crazy. Those who have dealt with lake effect snow certainly know exactly what I'm talking about. You get lake effect snow that is blowing 30, 40 miles an hour coming off the lake like that. It adds up super quick. So again, these model projections are 7 to 10 days out, except for the snow, with all of this beginning Tuesday into Wednesday for most of the affected areas and continuing on into Friday. There will be another set of storms early next week, like I said, around Valentine's Day, and then potentially even further out into the end of February. That is obviously on models going to be a little less certain and a lot less accurate when it comes to the projections and the totals. If you have made it this far into my video, I appreciate you sticking around and watching, and thank you for watching Wheelie Weathers.